Howdy, Possum Patty and the Soggy Bottom Bunch here. I've got my tea for one, my little teapot here. I've got little golden books all over the table. It's going to be a good time tonight, right? Oh, yeah, the mess is still down there, but don't worry about that. It's actually grown a little larger, yes. I had to go into the closet to find some Tyvek because I'm working on making a little golden book journal and a big box of stuff. Yeah, stuff. When I cleared off that table back there, which is now my computer table, right? And all the Soggy Bottom Bunch hangout area, I just threw it in the closet. Threw everything in the box and I threw the box in the closet. And well, yeah, looking for a few things. I had to find cardboard. I had to find Tyvek. So I pulled the box out. I figured the stuff in the box is just not going to get put away unless I pull the box out and like have to step over it constantly or work around it or add it to the pile of things that's already there. I only put a few things away today, but I did organize a few things. I found some cardboard that I added to the cardboard bag and a few things like that. I put a couple things away and did a little bit of organizing here and there. Still a ton more stuff to do. No pressure. No pressure. No pressure. Oh, remember I was talking about energy yesterday and I got my carnelian out, my stone of the year, and I'm like, I've got to use some of this energy to mop the kitchen floor. Well, I did. I got that whole area all vacuumed and mopped. It's tough with two senior cats. Well, actually, they're considered super seniors because they're over 15 years old. And yeah, when they eat their food, I got to follow around with paper towels and clean up the little dribbles and splatters everywhere. Yeah. It's not easy being a super senior cat. The whole floor really needed to be just mopped. So, yeah, I did that today. It's not going to stay clean for very long, but today it looked good. And yeah, so that's what I did. And oh, Mr. Possum had a project. That's what I was doing most of the day. I was planning on coming in here, but he has this old TV, old television in his computer room over there. And I'm talking 20 years. I'm talking the kind, it's a big TV, but the back of the TV, like here's the screen. It's like that wide, right? That wide. Now they're so thin. I was looking at them at the Best Buy. It's like a picture frame to put on the wall. They're no thicker than a picture frame. And this TV in the back room weighs so much. It's just this huge thing. It's like this big and like that wide. Well, it finally broke. Yay. I don't want to tell Mr. Possum, but I wanted to celebrate that he's finally going to get rid of that. It broke a few times before, but he keeps ordering parts and trying to fix it himself. Yes, that's the kind of guy he is. He likes to fix things. So finally, blinking red lights and all this stuff going on, and it comes on and it cuts off. And we went to the Best Buys. Yes, the Best Buys was having a sale on televisions for like $139. And Mr. Possum was like, well, what kind of TV can it be for $139? So we went to look at him. I mean, I think he would have wound up spending more than that on parts trying to fix the behemoth in the other room. And then it still would have constantly broke down because it's just so old. Anyway, yes. So we brought home the new TV. The screen is a lot smaller, but it's flat. It doesn't have that huge thing, and it's so light and so easy to move around. It's actually kind of too light. He wants to anchor it to the table so the cats don't jump up on the table and knock it over. That's how light it is. Anyway, yeah, so getting that big TV out of the room and out of the house and down the front steps and into the back of the truck to go to electronic recycling tomorrow. Oh, Mamma Mia. That was a project. That took quite a while. Quite a while. Yeah, well, first he had the idea he was going to take it down into the basement just in case he felt like fixing it again. And I'm like, oh no, just put it in recycling, put it in recycling. So yeah, it wouldn't fit through the door to the basement. We flipped it around and it's just so heavy. He was afraid to take it down the cellar steps, but we got it down the front steps just fine and it's in the truck. And that was my afternoon project after cleaning that whole area of the house in the morning. I just did a few things, yes, and I got out some little golden books and carried in my tea. I need to put my hand cream on. It's so dry, so cold and dry. I didn't want to do this before I carried in my teacup for obvious reasons, right? For obvious reasons. Well, I think I'm ready to get started on my Alice in Wonderland with this vintage cover here journal. And I'm not going to get the whole thing done tonight, no. Because I have to decide what I'm going to put on the inside. And I have to get papers together for signatures. And I want to show you how I make signatures to keep the story intact too. So yeah, it's going to be a multi-step process. But we can get that started tonight. And I have a couple of journals here I want to show you different ways that I make little golden books. If you're a longtime Possum Peep, welcome back. You've seen many golden books in progress here at Soggy Bottom and how I do it different ways with the story pages. And if you're a new Possum Peep, 100,000 welcomes. 100,000 welcomes. I'm glad you're here. Yes, I love to make journals from little golden books, and I have quite a few, and several of them are memory keepers, which I need to go back and put the pictures in. I've sort of made the journals, and I'm picking out pictures to put in there, but I need to get around to it. Yes, getting some of these journals going, hopefully in 2025. But here I am making another one. But this is going to be a cosmic smash, so there'll be some memory keeping in here and daily journaling and art journaling and glue booking and all kinds of fun things. I'm not going to say happy mail because I'm still putting my happy mail in a different journal. So I'm going to pour myself a cup of tea and show you some journals and yeah. Let's get started. Are you going to do some journaling today? Or maybe you're just relaxing. Get a hot beverage and pull up a chair and come on along. Just going to pour some tea. A little almond milk and sugar at the bottom of my cup. This is decaf chai because it's in the evening. Take a sip. So relaxing in the evening with decaf. I have some other like evening teas, like bedtime tea. I don't want to drink that just yet though, because I'll fall asleep in the middle of the video. That would be for later. That would be for later. All right, let's just get started on this, and then we can look at some other journals. How to get more tea. All right, I have to get my heat tool. Okay, we're plugged in. The very, very first thing I do when taking apart a little golden book to make a journal is to take off the foil. Okay, we're going to take off the foil, and it comes off very easily if you just warm it up with your heat tool. See how we're doing. Give it a little bit of a check. And it is still attached very securely. And just carefully peel it back. If it seems like it needs more heat, just give it more heat. This is very worn, not as pretty as the gold foil. I don't know that I would be using this again. But I do have to get it off. Okay, now this side. Is it the morning dove o'clock already? All right, some folks save this and use it in their journal. So we'll put that aside. And you will notice that there are 2 staples. And this is how I do it. I take a flat-headed screwdriver and bend that up like that. And bend that part up like that so that they're sticking straight out. Always work away from yourself. Try not to work toward your hand. Yeah. You got to pay attention to where your hand is at all times. You don't want to slip with the screwdriver and go right into your hand. And just lift that. I get this one crooked. Okay. And then I pull them out. Carefully dispose of them so small children and cats don't get a hold of them. So it seems through the years, for a very long time anyway, little golden books have had the same format. They've been about the same size. This one is 7 7/8, has the foil tape, 2 staples, very easy. Take the foil off, remove the staples, and when you look inside, you will see that there are 2 signatures. These are kind of glued together, right? 2 signatures, and each signature has three sheets. Like that. So there will be in the center of the journal 2 signatures with the story. But before I sew them in the journal, I usually reinforce this area right here. This has a number 2 on it. I've never seen that before. And the newer ones, the paper has a lot of perforations right along there, but this doesn't. This one's made a little bit differently, but that's okay. And sometimes I'll reinforce it with a little strip of Tyvek. Now Tyvek is just a mailing envelope, and you can save any mailing, any priority mailing envelopes that you get in the mail, or you can buy Tyvek at a, like Staples or Office Max, or you can use something different. But I'll cut this into a thin strip and glue this right in the center before I sew it into the finished journal. So before I do anything with these, I'm going to put Tyvek. I'll show you that when I get to that step. Not doing that today, but let's put a spine on here. Now, a lot of my little golden books have find a ruler here, 2-inch spine. I think there was one that had a little bit of a wider spine. Was it Jingle Bells? Yeah, this is wider, like a 2.5-inch spine. I think this is the very first one that I made. Very first little golden book. Yeah, but I did not keep the story intact in this journal. But this is a story page back here where it says Jingle Bells. And I took pages from the Grinch back there. That's from the Grinch. That's from the Grinch. That's from the Grinch, obviously. But there are storybook pages. I just added them in here and there. The story is not intact, except for at the end. The last page of the book was the song Jingle Bells, and I did put that there. But this was the very first one I did. And as you can see, I didn't write any dates or who's in the picture or any of that. So one of these days, here's a picture from the story. I need to go back and do that. That's from the story. So my very first one, the story is not intact. Okay, here it is. I'm looking for the thing. These are just hair ties from the Dollar Tree. Should get some more. A couple of them for $1. So this one's a little bit wider than the others. Very first little golden book. And I had watched videos on folks make little golden book journals, and it seemed to me like they all like to take this part off. But then when you go to put the story back in or use any of the pages are too big, and then they wound up folding them. And I just didn't like that. So I had to figure out a way to take the book apart, keep the cover intact, and put it back together again in such a way that I can keep the storybook pages in the journal without having to fold them over. So that's how I came up with it. Even though in this one I didn't keep the storybook pages intact, they fit perfectly in there without having to fold them over. In my Frida Kahlo, this is going to be a memory book of my trip to Costa Rica. I put some material here so you can't see the signatures, but there's 4 signatures, 2 smaller ones in the middle, and then 2 larger ones in the front and in the back. And as you can see, I made this very bright and colorful and haven't put anything in here. So here's the first signature. And then you have the complete story intact in the center, 2 signatures. And you can see there's a little piece of Tyvek there reinforcing the middle where I sewed it into the journal. But there's the whole story. And then you have a signature at the back. which is a little bit different than how I did it in the Golden Egg book. And this has 2 big signatures in it. Like, it's a chunky monkey, yes. But you can follow the story in order as you go through the book. So once there was a little bunny, and then there's journaling pages, but you can follow the story. Every few pages there's a there's a story page. See? So pages of journaling, and then the story page, and pages of journaling, and the story page. So signature ended and began with the story page, and then you just keep going, and eventually you'll get to the whole story. Now, this journal was made much later than the first journal I showed you, the Jingle Bell. So there is dates and people's names in this one, a little bit of journaling in this one, as you can see. Again, the story and the story. And it ends with the story. That is a lot of work to get the story in order throughout the journal like that. But that was fun to do too. And I believe there's a playlist for this one. There might not be a playlist for the Jingle Bells. I'll have to go back and look. But there is a playlist just for all the little golden books, I believe. Yeah. So you can find a lot of little golden book journaling, but also on how I did the covers and put in the signatures. Okay, tea break. Okay, I have a lot more journals than that, little golden book journals, but I just thought I would share a few tonight. And like I said, again, check out the playlist, the little golden book playlist. All right, so the signatures, don't lose the signatures. Don't lose the signatures. Okay, I'm gonna put them over there. And the cover. So what do I do next? Well, the next thing I do after it's all apart is make a spine. And I have the cardboard. And this is the back of you can see the tape here, an artist pad. It was probably watercolor paper. And I measured 7 7/8. I drew a line there. And I make 3 pieces. I make 3 pieces. I'll show you. I can find my scissors. Hello. I moved them over when I moved everything. Not easy to cut. I could do it with a knife. Or if I have a lot of pieces, I'll just give it to Mr. Possum. I'll take it down the basement and slice it up for me. Okay. And now I'm going to make the spine 2 inches. Make sure I'm going in the right direction. I have to be careful with this ruler. I love this ruler, but it starts in. So I have to make sure I line up with that line there. And this is the 7/8 that way, okay. So then I want to make a 2-inch spine, making sure I line up there. I got to pay attention or my mind will wander off somewhere. And draw my line. That will be my spine. And that is going to go right there. But before I put it together, I also make 2 supportive pieces. So right where this little bendy part is, I want to put a piece of this right down there like that so this doesn't bend anymore. And I do this to all of my journals. I just need a little piece, a little strip to put down there. Let's see. You can see it's right in there. I cover it with fabric or something. That's 1 inch. So I need 2 strips, 1 inch. And I'm going to cut this one. Not easy to cut, like I said. Not easy to cut. Ooh. And that's going to go there. And 1 more piece. Oh, last one was the hardest. Hands probably get tired. Okay. Now, I've got all my pieces. 1, 2, 3, just like that. And the first thing I'm going to do is take some fabric tack. I want some strong glue because these are supportive pieces. And I'm going to press that down there. Oh, and the reason why I like to use the back of, you know, like watercolor pads or Bristol paper or sketchbook paper, the back of the pad is usually pretty sturdy. And if you can see, it is the same thickness as the cover on the book. They must use like the same kind of cardboard for the little golden book covers as they do for these pads. Let me show you in a minute. Yeah, I know these strips poke out like this, and some people don't like that. But I rather have these pieces poked out like this than a floppy cover. I don't like it bending here. Because see, you no longer have those staples in there. And then this will bend back like that. Right. You need something to hold that. Get this kind of even here. I'm just eyeballing it. You don't want to put it right on the edge because when you close the book, you want that much room like that to close it. Let me show you. You see how the thickness is the same? That works out really, really well. Now, I cut a piece of mailing envelope here that is 7 7/8, same height as the book. And this is about 5.5 inches wide. I want it wide enough to cover these strips because this is what's holding the whole thing together. And as you can see, oh, I put it away already. My little golden books get kind of chunky. Yeah, they get heavily used, heavily journaled in, and very chunky. So they do need a lot of support. This is not a journal that gets made and put on the shelf. No, these are journals that get chunk full of stuff. So now I'm going to glue it together. And then I usually cover the Tyvek with paper or fabric. I'm going to do one side, then I'll do the other side. And this is kind of a plasticky paper with fibers in it. It's, you know, it's like a no-tear plasticky paper. And you need to put some down here too. pull it a little that way. I want it to be kind of even on both sides. Doesn't matter, you don't see the back and the front at the same time. But that doesn't matter too much. I'm going to press it down in the middle and press it down there. See this space there? That looks kind of big to me. See if I can move it over a little bit. You don't want it too close, but you don't want it too far away. If it's too far away, it's going to be too floppy. You want like the space where you can just put your fingernail in there. Just a fingernail like that. Okay. Getting there, we're getting there. Okay, let's put some glue on this side. This is almost empty. I can't wait till it's empty. I can't wait, I can't wait. Lots of glue. Lots of glue. Hold that Tyvek down. Make sure I have both of the covers going the right way. Okay. And now I'm going to put this over here. And I always turn it over to check. And, oh, that side came out good. That side came out good. I had to fuss with the other side, but I don't have to fuss with this side. All right, now, it doesn't end there. No, I do one more piece. So the piece that goes on the outside is not as large as the piece that goes on the inside, because I don't have to cover these support pieces. And I don't like to go over this line into the cover design. So I like to make it just from this crease to that crease. So this is a little big. This is a piece that's left over from the other piece I cut, I guess. So right about there. Which is, let me get my ruler. 3 inches. This is 2 inch for the spine, and then a 1/2 inch and a 1/2 inch would make it 3 inches. And the cutter does cut this. And I'm going to glue that right there. And I'll cover this with some fabric, which I have not chosen yet. And just put that right on top of the glue. Press it down. I like to stick my fingernail in there. Press that down. Okay, now, don't fold it up. Don't close it until it's dry. And it takes a little longer to dry because this is not a very porous material. Even though the cardboard is very porous, it's going to take just a little bit longer to dry. What kind of paper should I use to make the signatures? While this is drying, between now and the next video, I need to decide what to use as signature. It's going to be a Cosmic Smash book. And a lot of times in my Cosmic Smash book, whatever I put in as foundation pages wind up getting all covered up anyway. I do have a lot of paper down in the magical basement because I took it off the shelf and now I've got my journals back there. Yeah. So I'll probably just go downstairs and grab some nice, cardstock scrapbook paper. And I'll come back and I'll show you how I reinforce the pages. And, oh, I see. That number 2 I saw before, On this one, there's a number 1. That's the signature, number 1 signature, number 2 signature. I hadn't seen that before, no. And also, they don't have all those tiny little holes going down the edge like some of the other ones do. It's very yellowed, yes, very aged. Okay, so that's going to go there. So I'm going to come back. I'm going to get some paper for signatures, and we'll get the signatures sewn in. Ooh, oh, 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 oh. That probably will not happen until I figure out, this is going to be the big thing between now and the next video, how to use these pages in there. Yes. Okay. But I can get these in because these will be in the middle. And then there'll be 2 signatures, one in the front, one behind. But I want to use these dividers. So I'm going to have to take this apart. And I was also thinking about using this on the inside of the cover. Yeah, we got some work ahead of us. Yes, we do. A little bit more complicated because I'm incorporating this into that. But no problem. No problem. I know I have those Alice in Wonderland papers and everything, but I save that for when I do the journaling. Because like I said, if I use this on the signature, it'll get covered up. Yeah, so that's it. Yeah, we've got to start. We got around to it. Yes, we did. We got around to starting a new journal for 2025. So thanks for coming along today, and happy junk journaling. Bye-bye.